Yes, here we are on Psych Ups with Brian. Great to see you today. And today is National Encouragement Day. That's a great day, guys. National Encouragement Day. That's a wonderful thing to get a lot of encouragement in life, isn't it? So we all need encouragement if we want to do our best. We need somebody behind us saying, "Great job, keep at it, stick to it." Set your goals. It comes down to goals, plans, and schedule. What are the secret to success? It's not a mystery. It's setting really good, strong goals, worthy goals. It's making good, smart plans to achieve those goals. And then it's making smart adjustments to those plans as you go along. And then it's taking action steps. And that's following a schedule. So if you follow your schedule, you're going to be taking the action steps that are in your plan. So goals, plans, and schedules. So again, it's not a mystery of success, but sometimes you need encouragement to enact your plans because plans can sometimes be scary. They've got action steps in there you've never done before, or things that kind of make you hesitate, or you're worried, am I going to be able to do that? Like your calls. Making calls is usually the thing that gives people the most pause and causes them some concern and anxiety. But once you get going at it, sometimes you just need somebody to encourage you and say, go for it. You can do it. You'll be great on the phone, especially, you get better as you go. And so right in the beginning, maybe you're not as familiar with the scripts. It all comes down to scripts. Obviously, you need a great script to start. That's the starting point of being good on the phone, is having a great script that accomplishes what you're trying to accomplish. For us in our closing calls, what are our goals in the closing call? It's to negotiate the 4 deal points: purchase price, monthly payment, length of term, and down payment. And it's to set up an appointment for a deal meeting to go see the house. So that's pretty much our goal on the closing call. So, you just need encouragement that you can do that. You can absolutely do that. Here's the best script. What does a coach also do for you? They not only encourage you, they give you the tools. So here's the script you need. This is the tools. Hey, Lynette. Did you guys see Lynette slipping through there quickly? So guys, you need the tools, but then you need the encouragement. So again, it's National Day of Encouragement. Who encourages you in your life? Who's encouraging? And people encourage you in different areas. Maybe your mom and dad are still around, and maybe they're very encouraging, and they might encourage you to be a better parent. They might encourage you to take better care of yourself. They can encourage you in a lot of different areas. Not necessarily, to make more money, but that might be it too. Okay, so what do I encourage you to do? I encourage you to control your roles. I talk a lot about role control. So I want you to control your roles, keep your roles positive. So guess what? Encouraging, guys, guess you don't always have that person there to encourage you. So I'm going to say you're going to play a role called encouraging self-coach. So I want you to create that role for yourself. If you don't already have that role, and if you are not already playing that role for yourself, you are going to create a new role for yourself. And it's called encouraging self-coach. And when you make a mistake right now, do you go into the role of encouraging self-coach? Or do you kind of get down on yourself? Do you kind of pick at yourself? Do you kind of, sometimes, use the wrong mental verbiage, the wrong words in your mind that don't necessarily build confidence? So when you make a mistake, that's when you need encouragement a lot of times. You also just need encouragement to get going, to get started sometimes. So I want you guys to be an encouraging self-coach for yourself and start giving yourself compliments and write down, what does an encouraging self-coach do? Uses a lot of affirmations. So affirmations are a way to control your mind and emotions in an instant. I love affirmations. They're so powerful. If I want to change your mood, change your role from, critical self-coach, okay, you're not really, you're really getting down on yourself. So you're being a critical, sort of like a critical self-judge, aren't you? Can we slip into that role? Do you sometimes slip into that role of being a critical self-judge and you're judging yourself and you're being kind of hard on yourself? Well, does that lead to you doing better work? Does that lead to you doing peak performance and working harder? That's the delusion and the illusion, is that we think, well, if I get down on myself, if I beat myself up and punish myself for making mistakes, I'll do better next time. That's not how it works. When you get down on yourself and start punishing yourself, you don't even want to try that again because it's painful. So you have to be very forgiving. And let me tell you this is what a encouraging self-coach does, shows a lot of forgiveness. Okay, so write that down. You need to be able to, part of your ability to succeed in any new endeavor or in your new real estate investing business is your capacity for self-forgiveness. How good are you at forgiving yourself? Now you have to get into a role like forgiving self-coach or forgiving, forgiving self-advisor, self-counselor, a forgiving self-counselor. So you counsel yourself too. And that's a sort of a different thing than a coach. Sometimes you sort of need a little bit of counseling, and you can be a self-counselor. You know what you need to hear. If you went to a counselor, you kind of know, most of us have seen enough shows with some counseling in there and therapy, or we've been to a therapist, or we've been to someone else's therapist to help them, or some kind of an intervention or something. So most of us have a little bit of understanding of counseling and what counseling is like and kind of how that would work. But part of it is being encouraging, obviously. So I want you to also be supportive self-counselor, and also, encouraging self-coach. And both of those are really important roles. Sometimes you need sort of more of counseling when you're having emotional challenges. But an encouraging self-coach will obviously help you get over that as well. So when you create this role, and listen, to create a role, what do you need? You need a name. That's all you really need. And if you say that name, you can most of us, we can pretend like a kid. When you were a kid, you just said, hey, let's play cops and robbers. I'll pretend to be a cop, you pretend to be a robber, go. All right? It doesn't take a big, huge leap and a bunch of preparation to pretend. So that's kind of what role control is. It's pretending to be this role. So when you even think of that role, encouraging self-coach. Wow, okay, that's about all you need, is just think of that. Now, I want you to connect normally, I'm going to say, sometimes just saying the name of the role is enough of a trigger, what we call a trigger, to have you snap into that role. So if you say, I want to be encouraging self-coach, I am encouraging self-coach, saying that as an affirmation. So how do you snap into a new role? What if you're all kind of depressed? What if you're like, depressed moper? So you're kind of like everything's going wrong. You just can't seem to snap out of it. And you're just kind of trudging around the house feeling just down in the dumps. Okay, well, how do you snap out of it? You use a trigger gesture and a trigger affirmation. That's how you switch roles. Now, sometimes the trigger affirmation, the words or the gesture comes from outside, and it's an external stimuli. So if you're on the computer and you see an item pop up, some news item or something about inflation. Okay, so let's say it says inflation's going up. Okay, now that's a trigger for a lot of people. When I say that, the word inflation, is that a trigger? How does that make you feel? Does that kind of put you in an, fearful future predictor role or something where you're kind of like a little nervous now that I say that? So everything and anything in the world can be a trigger. Okay, and your triggers. It's not hard to figure them out. What gets you emotional? What gets you happy? What gets you anxious? What gets you mad? Okay, those are your triggers. So it's important to identify those. And then it's important to pick specific triggers to snap into your roles. So when you want to be encouraging self-coach, here's two new trigger. I want you to do these two new triggers. Okay, so I want you to do these two triggers. One of them is for encouraging self-coach. All right, and one of them is for supportive self-counselor. Now, for encouraging self-coach, guess what else the days are today? It's National Hug and High Five Day. Okay, that's kind of cool, right? National Hug and High Five Day. See, doesn't that work in with the National Encouragement Day? So I want you to snap into your encouraging self-coach role. You're going to give yourself a high five. That's your trigger gesture. Okay, so you say, I am an encouraging self-coach. High five. High five. Yeah, give yourself a high five. You can even jump. All right, boy, just doing that gets you excited, right? So that's why trigger gestures work. They engage you physically and they kind of change the way you're thinking in your mind. Okay, so if you want to be an encouraging self coach, if you want to make great phone calls and you've got 5 people to call and you're going to call them as soon as we're done here. So guess what? As soon as we're done here, right before you pick up that phone, you're going to say, I am an encouraging self coach. High five. All right. All right. Now, what about supportive self counselor? What's a good trigger gesture for that? Okay, you can say, I am a support. Obviously, the easiest affirmation is just to say, I am a, and then say the role name. So that will help you snap into it. But you can also say things like, if you want to be a supportive self counselor, what could be a trigger affirmation? I love myself. I love myself. I'm a wonderful person. I care about people. I'm worthy of love. Okay, all of those are good trigger affirmations for a supportive self coach. Here's a good trigger affirmation. I mean, a good trigger gesture. It's, what day is it today? It's hug and high five day. Give yourself a hug. Okay, so give yourself a hug. Just wrap your arms around yourself as much as you can, and get your tummy and get your shoulder in there, and just give yourself a hug. And you can rock a little bit and give yourself an encouraging hug. I am a supportive self counselor. Yeah, and you kind of feel better, don't you? And guys, you can even have trigger items. So I really believe in our little wolfies. So if you ever got one of our little wolfies with the snap arms, the little wristy, I want you to have that around and use that as a trigger item. One of our students recently sent me, he said, look, you're my desktop. So actually a picture of me and Lynette is on his desktop. Now that might be a little too much, but for him, it's motivating. Okay, so those are triggers. Now, even without using the word trigger, he understands the concept here. You need triggers in your environment. I also want you to go through your home and your workspace and make sure you have positive triggers, pictures that make you feel good. That, why do sometimes a lot of companies have motivating posters around? Because they might motivate people, hopefully they do. Okay, so but what motivates you, so get pictures of it. That's why you should have a vision board and a bucket list and post them on the wall. Should you have your vision board posted on the wall with a bunch of cool pictures? Absolutely. That's a great source of motivation. That's a great trigger for you to take action, isn't it? All right, that was a lot. Wow, I really got on a roll there. But I love talking about role control because it gives you control of your life, and it enables you to understand the way you think and everything. So, Charles, good to see you. Have a great Friday, everybody. Be your own biggest fan. Now, that's a role that's actually one of my roles that I play. My own number one fan, my own biggest fan. Okay, so if you want to say, let me switch into a new role, I'm my own number one fan. Just saying that feels good, doesn't it? Why aren't you your own number one fan? Don't pick at yourself. Support yourself. You're a great person. And so that's a good one. That's a good role. I like that one a lot. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Yes, that's for sure right. I'm a master caller. Yeah, all those are good, guys. Every time, think of the role names that you want to be. Just, if you want to be real estate winner, you got to start saying, I am a real estate winner. And then, of course, you have to make goals, set goals, and make plans and take actions. But if you start with your mind, everything starts in your mind. So if you start saying, I am a real estate winner, I am a real estate winner, and you start really buying into that and believing it, you're going to naturally say, well, if I'm a real estate winner, I better start doing something. And your subconscious is going to kick in. You're going to have a lot more motivation. You're going to start sticking to your schedule. You're going to start making phone calls. You're going to start getting deals going. But it starts in your head. Okay, Charles is commenting a lot today. I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was the greatest. Yes, programming. Every time Muhammad Ali says, I am the greatest, he was programming his own mind, wasn't he? Roger, great to see you. What's up, sir? And is that Caleb? Yeah. All right. Hustle and motivate. That's right. So lots of good stuff today. Oh, got more comments here. Roger had a house fire. Oh, that is so sad. I'm so sorry, Roger. Lost our dogs. That would kill me. Oh, I'll say a prayer for you, Roger. That's really sad. I hope everything the insurance is covering it. All your trainings. Oh my gosh. Okay, Roger, send me an email. You guys, if you need an email, if you need to get a hold of me, it's wolfcouple@gmail is usually the easiest one. So wolfcouple@gmail.com. I'm so sorry to hear that, Roger. You know what? I'll get you a new what to say and what to do. I'm sending a contract to seller. Seller owes $270, ARV $315. Okay. 3-year built. Seller will sell basically for what she owes with $3K. Okay, that's all good, guys. Isn't that good, guys? If you got a property under contract where they're selling it for what they owe, that is awesome. And there's equity in there. Obviously, it looks like almost a $45,000 spread, and she only wants a few thousand moving money. If that property is in good shape, and it must be because it's only 3 years old, that looks like an awesome deal. Okay. An open house sale. Yeah. So is this all ready to go? This is, yeah. That's great. Yeah, get this seller to sign that contract. That looks really good. That one, if that's right. Your vision board is above your computer. That's great. Guys, just, I don't know if you use Publisher or any kind of graphic design program or even Word. You can just use Word and you can drop pictures into a Word file to create your vision board. It's very easy. And you can get it all on one page that way. But you can also just start by opening up a folder on your desktop and call it vision board and just start putting pictures in there. And then you can worry about putting them on a piece of paper and printing it off later. But just start collecting pictures that would be awesome for your vision board. Okay, good condition. Yes. By a lake. Wow, by water. That looks good. You lost your Wolfie. Oh, no. Okay. All right, definitely, Roger. Send me an email. We're going to get you. Your Wolfie is such a good, literally a trigger for getting motivated and taking action, I hope. And all you guys who have your Wolfies, that's how I want you to use them. I mean, feel when that little Wolfie's hugging your arm, sometimes that feels like they love you and it feels loving and like you're worthy of love. And, I'm serious. You can really connect all kind of things in your mind to really build up yourself and feel more positive and feel more loved and more capable and effective. So let's use our right roles, guys, and let's use our let's use role control to be successful over this next weekend here. Use your affirmations and your trigger gestures right before you get on the phone. What is your trigger gesture for real estate winner? Do you know right now? Do you just go, I am a real estate winner, that just like that? And that's a great affirmation. Putting your arms up over your head is a good trigger gesture, gets you excited. Yes, you feel strong. Okay, so let's do, since we did the other ones, I'm going to do the high five with the, I am a encouraging self-coach. Let's do that for our affirmation. I'm an encouraging self-coach. High five. All right, let's do that one. Okay, 2 times on. Let's do it 3 times on 3 times on 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm an encouraging self-coach. High five. I'm an encouraging self-coach. High five. I'm an encouraging self-coach. High five. Giving myself a high five for a good job. All right, awesome, guys. Let's do 3 deep breaths. Nice deep breath in. Good. Put a smile on your face. Okay. Another one. Don't forget that self-hug. Give yourself a hug. That's a good trigger gesture. It feels good when you do that. Okay, another one. And if you think right, you really feel loved and cared for. And again, that's for a supportive self-counselor. So again, hey, Tony, you showed up a little bit late today. Hopefully you can watch it maybe you were here and you just hadn't commented. I am a real estate winner. That's a good one to end on. All right, Lacey, send me. I'm looking for 2 emails, guys. One from Lacey to wolfcouple@gmail and one from Roger. Roger, and you're in our prayers, right, everybody? Okay, guys, so until I see you on Monday, keep expecting success, getting awesome training from the Wolf Couple, and taking action. Yeah! We'll see you on Monday.